The first technique we're going to see is using Glimmer Glam. That's a glaze from Tattered Angels, but it's got big particles of glitter in. So what you want to do is put it onto the screen there with a paintbrush. Just dab it on quite thick, and then when you've covered the area that you want to, just press it down onto your canvas or your paper and put a little bit of pressure on it, and then lift it gently off, and you'll want to dry it. You can let it dry naturally, or you can use a heat tool. I will just say quickly now, this isn't a Tattered Angels sponsored video, it's just that I'm waiting desperately for my delusions to arrive, and the only other kind of mist products I have are Cosmic Shimmer mists, which are inferior in quality to Tattered Angels, so I'm using a Tattered Angels set here today. You will see the Cosmic Shimmer mists appear, but not very much. So what we want to do now is we've got some chalkboard mist from Tattered Angels, and it's just a question of spraying it over and then mopping it off with some kitchen paper. So the second technique is going to use Tattered Angels glaze, Glimmer Glaze, which is the same as Glam. It's a resist, except the particles of glitter are much, much finer, so you get a more kind of sophisticated, more subtle look. What you want to do is just paint it on. The brush comes in the lid of the pot into the shape of your stencil, and in the same way just allow it to dry naturally or heat dry it and then spray over with some mist. That's a glimmer mist there, and then again dab it off with some kitchen paper to create the resist. So the final technique in this video uses some kind of negative space or a stencil and some stamps and inks. What you want to do is spray a section of your paper with your mist of choice, and once it's dry you can ink up your stamp pad and place the stencil onto the coloured section of paper. Then you want to stamp into the negative space, so when you lift off the stencil you've got the shape with the stamped images inside. For this technique I'm going to use the glaze again because I prefer it to the Glam. It's a little bit more subtle. So once the ink is dry, put the stencil back on over the shape and apply the glaze inside the shape. I'll just take this opportunity quickly to talk about my fellow Gouache alchemist Misty, who very recently posted on the Gouache Alchemy blog about making her own mists with inks. I urge you to check it out because her comparison photos are out of this world. You won't want to buy a branded product again once you've seen it. So back to the technique. Once the glaze is dry, it's time to get misting again. So I've chosen some glimmer mist and just apply that directly on top, and then you can start to rub off again with the kitchen towel from the resist area. You can also kind of smooth and dab, so you kind of take a lot of the mist away from the paper, which makes the effect again a bit more subtle.